How's it going out there, Midnighters and Moonlighters? This is your closer-in-chief, post-collapse and still standing. If you're hearing this, congratulations. You've officially survived long enough to clock in for another shift. Now, before we settle in, a quick memo from management. The vending machines have declared themselves sovereign nations. Do not attempt to negotiate with them. Do not acknowledge their flags, especially the one near break room B. It's been blinking Morse code for 3 days, and we're pretty sure it's just cursing at us. Tonight's topic, rebuilding the world after it all comes crashing down. Society, trust, infrastructure. We're not just scavenging canned beans and bottle caps anymore. We're asking the big questions. Raiders versus high walls, trust versus survival, and most importantly, what Jolly Green is really willing to do for that last bag of the good beef jerky. Big Smoke and I dive headfirst into the finer points of post-apocalyptic agriculture, tomatoes, and polite negotiations at gunpoint. So, if you've ever passed a shift wondering how you'd make it in the wasteland without getting captured by a guy LARPing as a Roman legionnaire with a fox pelt on his head, go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons. This one's for you. What's up, Jolly Green? What's up, Big Smoke?
Hey, man.
What's going on, Chief?
Finally made it to the end.
After a long journey.
Such a long journey. The wait
To the apocalyptic
is
world.
finally over. I feel like I've gone through a couple of apocalypses.
Yeah.
Now we're here, the post-apocalypse. The radioactive dust has finally settled. Now we're seeing what builds back up out of the ashes, right? What does society in a post-apocalyptic scenario look like to you?
Small, little, manageable little communities. I would say no more than 600 to 800 people. Very, very specialized. I mean, back to those days where somebody is a blacksmith, somebody is, you know, shoeing horses. And
Okay, you said it's a very specialized community. I was thinking like Mad Max with Bullet Farm and, Gas Town. But even within the community, very special. Like you've got some kind of tradable skill that makes you useful to the community. With that in mind, what would you guys do? What would your trade skill be? In a time where you can't Google or, look up on YouTube how to do something.
like I said, I mean, for me, definitely hunting. I would not be good building fences or getting on a roof. I can't imagine my big ass on a roof doing, none of that stuff. And I'm sure someone would figure out how to make some version of a wind generator, something like that, windmill, something like that. Nah, I'm not a builder. I'm really good at going out and getting things and bringing them back. I think that I like to kill things. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. I mean, I would be that guy like, hey, look, we're going out. And then we run into something that might require, a little, loose trigger pull.
That aggressive negotiations?
Yeah. In order to, grease the wheels with a little bit of somebody else's blood. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for that. I don't want to sit around and talk about is this lane of greenery, long enough or deep enough or chilling the land. No, Big Smoke is not all about that at all.
No irrigation systems or plumbing.
No. Can I eat that? Yes. Can I drink that? Yes. Big Smoke is good. But beyond that, no.
What about you, Jolly?
I'm sitting here thinking, the one answer I had, and now I'm thinking I could do a lot of things. Like you said, hunting. I want to get into blacksmithing now, get a whole anvil set and all the stuff. But a blacksmith, even a guard, because I'm sure you're still going to need not a guard, but a security of some kind.
Yeah, like we talked about last time, the safety and security.
Yeah, which is hard too.
It's part of that shelter.
Garden, you know what I mean? Like a farmer.
Okay.
That'd be kind of nice. I know it's a wide variety, but I only had one answer at first, and then as I thought about it, I was like, yeah, well, I could probably do that too.
What about you, Chief?
So, I mean, learning how to do all this stuff, putting it all together. I mean, communications, you can make simple radios and transmitters and stuff like that.
Of course, you'd be on the ham.
Hey, yeah, man. Yeah. You need somebody's dulcet tones going out across the desert wastes and, linking up those other communities, man. You talk about small secular communities, but eventually, you're going to need something that somebody else has. You set up those trade routes.
A little bit of 2 dog vibes, you know what I mean?
3 dog.
Oh, is it 3 dog? Shit. How about calling him Moon Dog?
Yeah. And 3 dog keeping you company out here on the lonely, radiated wastes. And set me up in a nice little tower up somewhere. Just got my little DJ booth.
I can see that shit happening.
Right? Up until that point, I mean, taking care of animals. I love animals, man. Mm-hmm. I'm no, PETA ally or anything like that, but,
people eat tasty animals.
People do eat tasty animals. And somebody's got to raise those animals. And, I can go out. I don't.
What do they call that? Animal husbandry or something?
Yes.
Like that?
Yeah.
Now, see, that part I could handle. I would have a difficult time, at least starting out, handling any of the butchering side of things. I would need to know somebody else who could butcher. Because, even cows, man, I love me some hamburgers, but those things are big field puppies with hooves, man. They're adorable.
Never name them.
Yeah, never name them. Yeah,
never name them.
Your cheeseburger, your steak, your filet mignon. Yeah,
I got a house that is up the way, and I'm trying to do a farm up there. And I think about it. I'm like, I want cows, I want pigs, I want all of it. And I'm thinking about it, and then I come down to I gotta butcher them. And then I'm like, oh God, I'm just gonna have a farm with multiple breeding animals just getting out of control because I can't do anything with any of them. I got there to get him, and he just looks at me. It's so stupid, and I'm like, oh, I love you.
Now, see, I'm looking into this kind of stuff. That what they used to do back in the day, back whenever it wasn't, mass producing butcher shops and stuff like that. What they would do is you would have like a dairy cow, right?
Yeah.
And you would have it until it died. And when it died, that's whenever you would butcher it and you cut up the meat and everything. And then that was like, a celebration day. We just got a bunch of fresh meat and everything else. And one cow is enough to feed a whole family for months, if you're preserving it right and stuff. So usually you would trade that off for other stuff.
I looked it up. For half a cow for a family of 3 could do a whole year. That's just half a cow or a quarter. I can't remember specifically, but yeah. And it feeds a whole family for a whole year. Yeah.
Anybody who knows, get in the comments, let us know.
Yes, please.
How long does a cow last for a number of people?
But yeah, it's surprising. I mean, they're huge animals when you look at them. You see things, that's like a bison. Bison is like from your midsection to your head. That's how big their head is. You know what I mean? Have you
seen a bison in person?
Not in real life, but I've seen they did like where it shows
the silhouette size comparisons.
Yeah, and just the difference. And I've never seen one, but I mean, I'm sure it's all aspiring. You know what I mean? They're just huge.
And they're not nice to you.
No, you see people in Yellowstone all the time. They walk off the trails and people are like, come back. And they're like, no, we're taking it. And then, of course, that thing turns around and puts its...
It's so funny. It's just like you see tons of pictures where they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna take a picture with it." No, it's clearly on this sign.
That scares me. Where's your self-preservation instinct? You know what I mean? This thing is
because what they see is big fluffy cow, and they're not big fluffy cow. I've been out Yellowstone. I was doing seasonal work out in Montana, and we took a 4-day weekend and went down to Yellowstone. And I saw it coming right up next to the car. The back on those things bigger, taller than the car. So we were parked behind this big moving truck, and there was another car in front of it, and the bison was in the middle of the road. It was halting up traffic for like a good quarter mile at least, and the car honks at the bison trying to get it to move. Bison gets pissed off and charges the car. I tell you, when I saw something that size move that fast, they have some get up and go, and they're moving that much mass, and it was. Whew. But but don't fuck with bison. Same with moose. Moose aren't even animals, man. Those are just megafauna that survived.
And seen many of YouTube where mama moose is like really mad that you came close to baby moose, and then you start getting the crap stomped out of you. And I mean stomped out of you.
That's in anything has a protective instinct, but I mean, they say the female mooses when they have babies, I mean, they'll mess you up, and then the males when it's rutting season, I mean, they are mean as could be.
Yep. I mean, spent some time up in Alaska and saw moose firsthand up there too. And in Montana as well. They do come as far south as
we do get them out here.
Yeah, but yeah, they're big, and like I was out talking about the self-preservation instinct, man. I was out there on the hiking trail with a couple of my friends, and they're like, "Oh, there's a moose right there," and like, look, there's that one right there, and there's one 30 yards down that way, and then there's that one there that's laying down, and they're like standing there trying to take pictures and stuff. I'm like, we need to keep moving, and they're like, "Oh, well, there's one more picture," and the one that was laying down stood up, and that was the closest one, and they could really see, like, they're looking up at this thing, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, we're gonna move." You know, and it's because they will trample you.
Oh my!
And for no other reason than because you got a little too close.
Yeah.
And because herbivores, man. You know, you think you got bears and wolves and shit to worry about?
Say,
herbivores have enough energy to spare to fuck with you, but
And they run from bears.
Yeah.
Get that right. It was like a troop of us. It was like 12, 13. Like 10 or 12. And our troop leader, he was like, hey, start yelling. Because the bear came into in our like little enclosure area. And, you know, when you see something like that, and bears don't even, I mean, their first initial, they're not growling at you. They make this, and it's like, just that sound, your instinct to run is like overwhelming. You want to get out of there.
Every caveman instinct flares up at once.
And I remember our troop, he was like in the middle of the group, but he was like, "Hey, don't you run. Don't you run. You're not going to outrun him. Hey, puff yourself up as big as you can. Start yelling back at him. Don't you run."
Prey runs.
Was it a black bear?
It was a black bear.
Yeah. Why is that? Chief, why is that funny?
Black bear are basically just oversized raccoons.
Wow, that's what I'm saying.
Don't get me wrong.
I was getting on. I was like, a black bear, they say puff up, make noise. 9 times out of 10, they'll run. They say a grizzly, don't run. It'll catch you. Don't climb a tree. It'll rip you out of there and climb faster than you can. They're like pretty much just hope to God it moves off, and if not, curl yourself up and just pray.
Like, you know, whenever you get your dog just a little too worked up by accident, you know, you moved a little too quick, and now they're alert.
It's an instinct.
So you try to hold still to get them to calm down. Yeah. That's basically how you want to treat with bear, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, like they don't want to expend the energy if they think it's going to be a fight or if they think it's going to be not worth the effort. Right. So, you know, you make the noise out there with grizzlies so that they know you're there, because you don't want to surprise them, you know, but so, you don't want to.
I remember I had to pee a lot after that encounter because I was like, you had to evacuate everything. I was like,
I didn't say you held it because you didn't want to go out there. You were like, no, I'll piss my pants before I go out there.
No, I was like, it was like, I had to pee. I was like, oh my God. I remember peeing very hard. It was like the strongest stream of piss that came out.
I need to get this out of me as quickly as possible.
Oh my God. It's like every muscle in my body was tensed up so hard. It's like, okay, we got to get it out, guys. Let it go. Let the stream go.
I'll be honest, I've noticed that, you know, having a few situations I've had, and you get in a scary situation afterwards, you're like, fuck, I got to take a shit. I don't know if that's just like, I just believe you know, it's just the nerves, you know what I mean?
Your body goes into that fight or flight, that hyper adrenaline and everything. And so all of your systems, your metabolic systems especially, kick into overdrive to give you that extra energy. And that's why it pushes that out.
I remember a friend of mine that happened to, where he we got into our first game fight. He never got into a fight before. And he was so freaking frantic. That's exactly what he did. He went like, it's like, we're in a parking lot, and he's like, oh my God. I'm like, what's the matter with me? He went behind our car, and he just, I'm like, what's going on over there now? Oh God. I think he just, it just came out of him. And he was just sitting there, and he's like, he's like, oh God, anybody got, no, nobody's got toilet paper.
Take your sock off, please.
Yeah. He's like, oh man, he had to deal with it.
Speaking of black bears, that might work. Don't try this at home, but you know, if you go to get attacked, try shitting yourself. He might just be like, oh, this one's shit. Yeah, God.
Can't eat this guy.
I can't eat this guy.
What was that? Without a paddle that happened?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
he gets picked up because they're like, "You're getting the fetal position, get in the fetal position," and he's like curled up in the ball, and the bear comes up and like sniffing around because he shit his pants. They thinks it's like a baby, so picks it up by the scruff of his underwear and carries him off, and he just like trots away. And like, abort the fetal position.
That movie was so freaking stupid.
Oh my god!
Okay,
right.
Wait.
Is this episode about bears and shitting ourselves?
I mean, does a bear shit in the woods?
That is the age-old question.
Once again, we have gotten off topic. Let's get back to the topic. We're back to
post-apocalyptic. Right.
You might shit yourself there too. You know what I mean? Every reason. You know,
group of raiders is sitting outside your walls, man. You know,
I don't know if they'll turn away that. They might. That might.
Oh, so what's the Bad Batch? I told you to watch it. Did you watch it?
No.
Star Wars?
No.
Oh.
No, not the anime, dude.
This is what was it? It was Jason Momoa and Keanu Reeves and a couple other.
I do remember you talking about it. I know.
But so they had a cannibal society in this like penal colony. It was very post-apocalyptic kind of scenario and stuff. But like this girl gets captured by these cannibals, and they're like hacking pieces off her and stuff. This is like first couple of minutes of the movie. Mm-hmm. And in order to escape, she covers herself in her own shit. So the cannibals have to like clean her off so that, her meat doesn't get infected. And, obviously they don't want to be eating shit. So, drag her over to start bathing her. And that's when she makes her break, grabs a piece of rebar and clubs the lady over the head with it and gets away. But yeah, fucking, deterrence.
Even cannibals have standards. You know what I mean? They're not.
And according to, was it Jeffrey Dahmer? I think it was. So yeah, I think it was Dahmer who said that, people with tattoos, the meat doesn't taste as good. So if you want to protect yourself, if you want to make yourself cannibal proof, tattoos.
They killed that fool in prison.
All right, less tangents. Let's see. Post-apocalyptic, we got things that we would do to survive, to make ourselves useful in society. So skills, marksmanship, gardening, animal husbandry, blacksmithing. What would be, let's say, leading up to, let's say you've been alone out in the woods for a while, but every once in a while you deal with some like, roving caravan traders or something. Like, what's something that you would see in something in the stuff that they were selling that would make you think that things are starting to rebuild? Things are kind of starting to become a bit more civilized. What is your symbol of hope that things are starting to finally come back around?
Music. If they started getting power to the point where luxuries or radio, or not necessarily radio, but they could run something through a PA system and it would be music. If you heard music, then they have energy to spare, and that somebody has a job, and that job is providing music. Because no one wants to hear round robin, on loop, 24 hours a day. Now you'd have to have somebody out there who would change that out there, and that means that their specialty or their job designation would probably be just music. That's sitting with earphones on, and I'm probably wouldn't be digital. It would probably be vinyl. Mm-hmm. So we're talking,
old school, actual disc jockeys, actual DJs,
an actual person out there changing that vinyl over and over again. He's taking really good care of that vinyl.
Mm-hmm. I would think new music, something new out there. Somebody's just something never heard before. So people not only having the time to change out those vinyls and stuff, but somebody out there composing. That would be
funky hits from the wasteland,
strumming that guitar.
Yeah. What about you, Jolly?
It's going to sound weird. Ice. I think back in the day, ice boxes is what they were called. And you'd have to resupply the ice in them. So you'd have to go to a certain place where they were selling the ice. Having a place that, we have power. We have the facilities to make ice. I'm sure exorbitant prices, you know what I mean? Because back in the day, I think that wasn't like a thing that just a normal Joe Blow would go and be like, I'm just going to, but ice making, you know what I mean? The ability to transport the water up there, cool it down, shave it up, and then sell it on the street corners or whatever, or delivery on demand, you know what I mean? But
well, so the Amish, they do this thing where they have ice sheds, right? So they have a very insulated barn that's kept in the shade and everything. And so in the wintertime, they load it up with ice and snow, and it lasts all throughout the summer. And so that would be where they would, preserve things that need to be kept cold. But then, that's how they get ice cream. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen their process, how they make ice cream and stuff. They get like the specialized churn that mixes the ice and snow with the salt and the sugar and everything and cream, and crank that out. And yeah, they have ways now of without having to use power to keep ice throughout the year. So,
so you didn't even need power, just the ability, to transport and that all. Because that's a luxury. You're not thinking about ice when you're trying to survive.
Well,
that is a absolute,
It's infrastructure. I mean, they learned how to make it.
Yeah, so that's when hey, some infrastructure is starting to come back. Some semblance of the past is starting to come back. I think that's where I think we're coming out of this.
Yeah, I mean, when you start having the ability to think beyond food,
basics,
water, shelter, and a little bit more, you can think beyond that and then have the capacity to do such a thing. You could think about it all day, but do you know how to do it? Building of an aqueduct is technology created thousands of years ago, but you'd be hard pressed to find someone who knows how to build one of those things now. I mean, if you could get fresh water in your community 24 hours a day, not like go down to the river,
get a pail
and carry it on your head all the way up the hill. I mean, that's good cardio, but it's not very convenient. And not to mention, if you have like drought conditions, I mean, how do you get that water to said, fields to water the fields? I mean, so you have to start actually creating a structure, an infrastructure that'll make that happen. If you got minds together going, hey, it's amazing what you get like a couple of minds together. Like, dude, I don't know how to build this, but how do we get water from here to here? And we don't have to carry this stuff on pails and buckets and wearing out, Jesse and Sally trying to carry this stuff up the hill. How do we get it? Like, you get a couple of people together. They're not geniuses, but they'll figure out a way to do it.
They got a good old redneck ingenuity.
Yeah, let's figure out how to do it. And if you got like time to do that, then your society's it's advancing. You're not recreating the wheel. You're just figuring out, okay, the wheel is round. The round wheel rolls this way, and you figure stuff out. That's how things are working past all the killing and raiding and all that other stuff. The people who are going to kill you or were thinking about killing you, they probably have already been killed. And everyone else is like, okay, look, dude, I don't like you all that much, but you know how to make bread. And we know how to make this. So how about we don't shoot each other? We can give each other the side eye. That's fine. But we can just slide over that bread and I'll slide over this, maybe linen or whatever. I got a wife who knows how to, she's really good with the knittle and stitch, and we'll just trade that off. Everybody doing it all slow. Nobody reaches for their weapon. Give it. And then, now we can do some trade. But, if I can do that.
It reminds me of, talk about preserving knowledge, right? So in Fallout 3, Jelly, you're going to remember this.
I already know who you're going to say.
In Megaton.
Moira
Brown. She was this junk trader. But so she started putting together this thing called Wasteland Survival Guide.
Yes.
So she was making paper. She had found some old printing press, was making paper and printing out these books and everything and passing it with the wandering trade caravans and stuff, and trying to put firsthand knowledge and information back in the hands of the people in the wastes, and trying to help society rebuild with these very positive, optimistic ideals.
I thought Fallout was more about vaults and all the experiments they had.
Sure, but not everybody was in the vaults. So there was the people that survived in the wastelands outside of the vaults. They kept going. Society kept going after the collapse, and so they started building up little settlements and communities. Megaton was I mean, the absurdity of Fallout, that they had one of the nukes that hit didn't go off, and there was this group of ghouls. The ghouls from the show, the guys that are all irradiated and stuff. They had this group called the
Children of Adam.
Children of Adam. It was a cult that worshipped the bomb, and so they built up a little thing around that, and then the Megaton, the community built up around it, and so now there's this whole town. I mean, they took plane wings and side sheet metal from buildings and stuff, and made these massive walls to keep out all the raiders and the super mutants and stuff like that. And they built up this little community, this little society. There was a bar, there was prostitution, there was a little noodle shop stand and a little restaurant.
I never played the game.
There's doctors,
Every time I hear you guys talk about that stuff, it makes me want to go buy the game.
It's
absolutely.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, so the Wasteland Survival Guide, that would be something that would be, for me, definitely a sign of, like, not only that are people committing these resources to printing off stuff and sending it out there, but then you're also bringing back that old knowledge. And it reminds me of the importance of storytelling, bookkeeping, record keeping, how much of this world's knowledge will exceed into the next world.
And like Okay, so now we're talking about procreation. I mean, do you have enough to actually have kids?
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Okay.
When you see little ones starting to go around,
Exactly, because you're talking about making paper for some like distribution and publications. Who's teaching these cats to read?
Right.
I've seen some people out there at 25, 26 years old. They don't know how to read. They cannot read. I mean,
there's a lot of people that you wouldn't think, but it is really a lot of people. And
what worries me right now, talk about the school systems nowadays. They're teaching some weird method of teaching kids how to read by basically using context clues and guessing the words. It's like, oh, this word it has a H and an A and a C in it, so obviously that's hack. It's like, well, no, it's hatch. And the T and the H is in there. It's hatch. It's like, oh, well, I look at the first letter and the last letter, and I make a guess. Like, no, that's not. You sound out each individual word.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to learn how to read. And you think Common Core math was bad? This is worse. This is how they're trying to teach kids how to read. And I blame the overabundance of autocorrect on texting. People don't need to know how to spell anymore. No. Your phone does it for you.
I remember one time, this is my kids when they were young, and she was asking me how to spell necessary. And I was like, oh, shoot. How do you spell necessary? I was like, wow. I mean, it took me a second. I'm like, I figured it out, but I was like, whoa, I thought I know how it sounds, but I know that's not how it's spelled.
To be fair, that is one of those rough ones. Like, how many C's, how many S's?
Yes.
An E or an A in the middle?
Restaurant. And like, oh man.
And you better hope you're not in that mindset where even when you write it out correctly, it doesn't look quite right.
Yeah. I know that's probably how it's spelled, but some of those things actually crack me up because who's teaching these cats how to read and write? Mm-hmm. My youngest daughter, after they taught her how to write cursive in the 6th grade, the classes behind her, they stopped teaching.
Mm-hmm. That happened to me. Yeah. I learned cursive. My brother and sister didn't.
Yeah.
Well, my brother might have, but my sister definitely.
Yeah. It's like, what do you mean you do? And I was talking about these other kids that didn't know how to read cursive or write in cursive. And I was like, wow, I was like almost borderline despairing because I'm like, Jesus, man, what are they? If they're not teaching these basic stuff, what are they teaching kids?
Right.
That's a whole new episode.
Yeah, there we go.
So have you guys heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay. The Georgia Guidestones, granite monuments inscribed with guidelines for rebuilding civilization after an unspecified apocalyptic event. The monument, nicknamed America's Stonehenge, featured 10 guides in 8 languages covering topics like population control, governance, and environmental balance.
What state is this?
Georgia.
I have seen this. I actually
Georgia
have seen
Guidestone, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And if I know correct, I'll let you know.
The monument consists of 5 granite slabs, a capstone, and a center column, all arranged to function as a calendar, compass, and clock. The monument was damaged by an explosion in 2022 and subsequently demolished for safety reasons. There was some discussion about rebuilding, but it's unclear if that will happen. Yeah, so I mean, imagine if we had just a bunch of those.
I do believe it was one person too that built it. If I'm correct, I can't remember specifically, but it's a guy that bought the land, and I have seen this.
Mystery and controversy. The monument's origins, authorship, and precise meaning have been shrouded in mystery, leading to various interpretations and conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
so I have seen that.
He was from the future.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He saw it coming. He was building, and then those bastards, they blew it up.
No. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah. It says the first and most prominent guide is maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Many of the guides emphasize the importance of leaving room for nature and protecting the environment. And the guides also address the need for fair laws, just courts, and international cooperation.
Say climate change in there. I'm about to have a bit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, no climate change.
Yeah. 500 million. You know how many people would have to die to get to it?
Well, we're talking about after a post-apocalyptic event, so I mean.
Okay, well, yeah, then the apocalypse would probably handle a good number of those, wouldn't it? Like we said before, you eliminate power, you eliminate processing for food and food goods.
Medicines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people can't get their medications.
You can die from stuff as simple as freaking not able to get your braces off.
Yeah. Infections become rampant again, you know.
Yeah, you get a graze, you know,
before,
you get a graze, usually it was like, give them a couple of, antibiotics.
Gets infected, and even a cut, you have no idea how quick it can go downhill where a little cut, drop you dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Penicillin is like mold that they cultivate. But if you have something like that nowadays, I mean, and we run out, you catch a cold, catch a fever, let that fever go on for too long, you're a goner.
Mm-hmm.
You are a goner. You're pregnant, You go through childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of blood. It's a lot of torn skin. If you don't sew that tear, if you allow her to bleed too much, she will bleed out.
I said it last episode. I think the statistics on women's birth deaths compared to back then before normal run-of-the-mill medical thing, it's astronomical.
Well,
it wasn't a proud thing. No one was excited. It was, I could lose you and the baby. You know what I mean? It was scary.
Yes and no. 100 years ago, doctors didn't know that they were trying to figure out the mechanics of bodies. So they were always dealing with corpses. They're sticking their bare hands in these corpses. Then they find out that some lady is having a child upstairs. They never wash their hands. They never sanitize their hands. And they go up and they stick their fingers, these dirty, nasty, necrotic fingers with all this dead tissue inside a bleeding, blistering wound of a pregnant woman. She gets infected. She gains sepsis and she dies. And they didn't figure that out right away. There was a couple of doctors back then like, hey, maybe you should wash your hands, clean yourself of all this infected tissue before you start touching someone who's physically vulnerable.
I'm pretty sure they called that guy a witch.
I was going to say, and they were like, stone that son of a bitch.
Yeah, they didn't think it was relevant. They thought, okay, the body's dead. It's not going to hurt anybody, but you're hurting the person who's living. And then like a lot of those midwives, those old crones who delivered hundreds and hundreds of babies, they knew to keep their bodies clean. They knew to keep the area sterilized. But the medical society said, hey, look, we need to have more authority, more moral and medical authority. So we're going to ban the use of midwives. That's how that all came about.
Let's just take out the people who have firsthand knowledge and experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those people were like, those gypsies were out there running around in the countryside. Their populations didn't die out. They were having kids by the dozens, but you have these urban societies.
The high society folks.
Yeah. They were dying off because they would trust these doctors, and these doctors, through their better knowledge, they were killing them off because everything was infecting everything else. Crazy to think these things.
A long way from you've got ghosts in your blood. You should do cocaine about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cocaine solves a lot, right? Yeah, it's a hell of a drug, baby. God, Rick James, rest in peace, baby.
Yeah. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. And this little... Oh shit!
I do, man. Rest in peace.
So rebuilding society in the post-apocalypse.
Yeah, you'd have to relearn all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Unless you had people that were
a doctor or a nurse.
Well, people that were remembering these things, right? So oral tradition becomes important whenever your electronics go away, whenever your paper doesn't survive. Yes, people are doing everything they can. I mean, they've got like the seed vaults up in somewhere
Alaska.
in Northern Europe.
I might be lying to you. Iceland,
I think, yeah. Mm-hmm. Iceland, and maybe
a seed farm,
a seed vault,
just all the seeds.
They cryogenically.
I don't want to say in the world,
seeds, but so that if something ever happened and they needed to replant and rebuild, they have a location to pull those seeds from. The species goes extinct. They got a copy of it.
Yeah, provided all the NGOs don't buy them out and put a torch to. Oh, that'll never happen. Delete that one. Go back 30 seconds. That didn't happen.
Hear me out. Crypto seed. Crypto seed.
Come on. It's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Come on.
And so
I'll be at the top, and then it's like a pyramid, but it's not a pyramid scheme. You know what I mean? It's a
3-dimensional triangle where everyone is their own boss.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dimension 20. Love that bit. So they got preservation stuff that's happening now, but I mean, you look back in history, you had guys like the Skalds and the Bards and the people that were keeping these oral traditions, that were maintaining the stories, right? So not only just the folk knowledge, but then also all the old legends and stuff. So these guys suddenly become very, very important again. So all those guys with special interests and all of our puzzle piece allies out there, they become very important to hold on to because they got all that stuff locked away up here and they can rattle that stuff off. It's a very useful talent and skill in a time like that.
Look, one of my first characters in Dungeons and Dragons was a bard. I mean, he can only put you to sleep. That was his main skill, was sleeping, your sleeping spells. But I mean.
See,
I get it, man.
Hey, I like playing bards, man. Any high charisma class is like, I can talk some good shit. It's a good game. It's nice having that stat mechanic backing you up whenever you talk.
Yeah.
Nothing's worse than, saying a great monologue and then not wanting that inspiration check, It's
yeah. But also post-apocalypse. Speaking of like people who have that oral knowledge, apprenticeships. Anybody who's an apprentice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
that comes back.
Yeah,
Big
I
time.
mean, the kid may not be able to read or write, but can he sling a hammer? Can he
drive nails? Can he
drive
cut wood?
Can he plow the field? I mean, does he have a knowledge that was taught to him by old Ned, who's been doing it for like all his life, and he's got to teach it to somebody, and hey, get this raggedy mouth kid out there and have him do it. Until he actually knows what to do, and old Ned can sit there on the fence and watch young said kid or kids do that job until they're old enough to do it on their own.
And then you don't really need to be able to read or write to be able to do that stuff, right? That becomes literacy becomes a luxury of the wealthy again. Fun fact, just a little trivia fact popped into my head. So that's where trademarks come from, because you had your blacksmiths and your carpenters and stuff like that. They had to mark their signature on things to say this was their work, and they didn't know how to. Well, they didn't always be able to read or write, but they wanted to put their name out there.
They had
so
a
they would
certain
make a
mark that they could write,
Yes.
and it was their mark.
It was a trademark.
See what happens when you get more than one person in the room, not just watching Netflix.
Hey, like I said,
knowledge gets passed around, baby.
Like I said, Wikipedia rabbit holes, man. I don't have any one special interest. I have a special interest for knowledge.
In general.
Not everybody can be Mr. Terrific, but
But those that can, protect those people.
Yeah, protect those people. Like I said, you get into that kind of thing where after all the fallout, all the bad stuff that has happened, and now that tidal wave of evil or nature or whatever you want to call it starts to recede. Then from that, society has to start to either rebuild or just falls into decay.
I like to look at it like a rebirth cycle. It's the fresh growth and greenery popping up after a forest fire, or after wildfire. So something's going to come back. Something's going to sprout back up. I mean, even mass extinction events. I mean, you see stuff like 2012, the movie, where, so many people get wiped out, because every natural disaster that could ever possibly happen is happening while an ice age is coming.
That was a rough movie to watch. Boy.
Just in history too, that's
the
dinosaurs.
Yeah,
that is why, that mammals became prevalent animals now, because they died out to give room. Whenever a animal that has a niche is in a certain spot in the food chain, in the way that it does stuff to help the environment, when that dies off, there's another animal right behind it that's going to take up that spot. And
it's going to be bugs next.
I know you love.
I love
Chief.
I love bugs too much. Giant rad roaches and giant bugs and everything all over the place. I mean that.
I was about to say,
give me my nice big tower surrounded by dudes in power armor with guns
and bears, and his fear is just a big old fucking rad roach coming at him.
I saw this movie. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was about that. They build a species of roach
and put them on Mars.
Oh no, that's Terraformers.
Shit.
That movie is.
I've never watched it, but I've seen parts of it.
Oh my god, that they think about like Asian film.
Yeah,
they'll go anime with it, and then they decide to do it live action, which is like tons worse. Like he's like, oh crap, and they see large people turning into freaking scorpions and stuff like that, and you got to watch the series. It's insane. But this was American made. It was I don't remember the name of the movie, but it was they made these roaches that were resistant to like the mating process, and these roaches supposed to get rid of all the other roaches because they blend in and they would stop the mating cycles. Well, they thought they had it fixed out, right? Well, turns out that the roaches evolved.
Life finds a way.
Exactly. They evolved, and they were so rapid with their succession. Like generations for us is anywhere from 18 to 25 years. Generations for insect,
couple of days.
Their life cycles are very fast. So they evolved thousands of generations to where now there's these big giant roaches that they camouflage themselves into people and they're killing people. Yeah.
That sounds cool.
I hope that doesn't happen in post-apocalypse society, because that's what we're supposed to be talking about. Post-apocalypse society. But yeah, they went about and they just started wrecking human society.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So for us, we gotta be able to, but the evolving for human society is very slow.
Yeah.
So for us, it's God.
What was that? Metro 2033.
Mm.
They had the light beings that came about after the radiation. It was basically the next evolutionary step of humanity.
You're talking about the orbs?
Yeah, they were orbs, but then they also had like this shadowy figure appearance. I don't know. I only played the first 2 games, so I don't know if they ever like went into more detail what those guys look like.
You're talking about when the guy says, "Don't look at them," or "Don't."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which that happens to this day. Ball lightning is what it's called.
Ball lightning. Yeah.
Ball lightning. And it happens to this day, and we don't really understand, or at least I don't understand it.
My understanding is they don't really have any like hard evidence that happens. Right?
I think there was a video of it. I think it does happen, but
no, they've had what they call eyewitness accounts, but
I thought I saw a video.
It always
But
happens
once again,
too quick for somebody to pull a phone out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us, we've had mass extinction events for humankind.
Yeah, the Black Plague, the Pompeii, yeah.
When Rome finally fell, and Eastern Rome fell, but Constantinople did not fall. But the whole other half of the empire was gone, and all that technology that they had, because they were pretty technically advanced back then, and it was gone.
Mm-hmm. Genghis Khan.
No,
that dude may as well have been just a force of nature.
What is it, like 60-70% of DNA in Mongolia?
No,
it's not that high, but it's
15%.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 50%. I know it's a crazy amount. They can trace their.
It's like a 1 in 3
DNA.
chance that you have some DNA trace. But have you heard of the it was like the Great Muslim Reset or something like that? I was just seeing something on a YouTube video about that recently, where some Persian Empire back in the day, Genghis Khan had sent some envoys out there doing Genghis Khan shit. Like, hey, you guys can, worship who you want, whatever, but, you're going to bow to Genghis Khan.
Pay us a little gold as tribute.
Yeah. And the Persians killed those guys. And
which is very bad for Genghis Khan. He did not like that.
Right. So Genghis Khan's like, hey, maybe there was some misunderstanding. Maybe those guys weren't too good. So he sent 2 more. Those guys got killed. Genghis Khan's like, all right, cool. Bet. I want those guys gone. And they went through and massacred everybody. Normally he would have his thing of like save some of the men, save the women and children and everything, and bring them up on it. No, he wiped all of them. That's where
killed the entire city. I remember that one.
And salted the earth behind it. So that was
can't grow shit afterwards.
Yeah, literally that's where salting the earth, and salting the fields. And that's where that came from. All the technology, all the sciences and medicines and arts,
because that was supposed to
math.
That was supposed to be a very
advanced society, and all that was just gone in one generation, one lifespan. That was all just wiped out. Post-apocalyptic for those guys was, was man-made. That kind of stuff. But they rebuilt. They built up new societies, they built up new cultures, and so everything keeps happening in these cycles. So that at least leaves me optimistic that there would be something to rebuild, or someone around to rebuild after that.
And to be honest, Genghis Khan really did like other cultures. He did like technology.
Oh yeah, and he loved learning.
He loved all that stuff. So if you were of value, he'd be like, kill those guys, but keep that one guy, that artisan. Even artisans. I mean, people who knew how to draw. If you could make something that was unique. He's like, he valued that stuff. But dude, don't you ever disobey. Right. Because that was you. That was it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I never known somebody who could kill on that kind of a scale and still sleep at night. I mean, that.
Oh, he had to have been psychopathic on some level.
You gotta be. To wipe out entire kingdoms. He was just.
And then the fallout after him passing and all of his kids, all his nephews.
What is that? The Golden Horde and the different, how about that city-states? Good Lord.
It lasted. It only lasted 3 generations. I think the last monarch, warlord was Kublai Khan, right?
I think so. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Get in the comments and let us know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, like, dislike, comment, and subscribe, people.
If you want this podcast to last past the apocalypse.
I don't care if you don't want it to last, but comment and subscribe.
Comment you don't like me, comment you like me, comment or just comment.
Big Smoke, you need to stop talking about whatever. But you need to subscribe to do that thing. I don't mind it. Go ahead. Do that. Because it really does matter.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting there listening to a video and just, and I'm just tuned into listening to it. I'm paying attention to everything. I'm not thinking about interacting with YouTube. I'm thinking about listening to what the content is. But, you know, you get that quick little cut of like, oh yeah, I can tap that button
real quick.
Yeah.
Takes you half a second.
Yeah, half a second, yeah.
You know, it's, 3 muscles. Just tink.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's like, it's only been in the last year or so where it's like, shoot. You know, that keyboard, oh, you are so full of shit. You know? And I'm like, oh, crap. Was my real name on that?
Which account was I signed into?
Shit, well, oh, God,
At Big Smoke Dog. God damn it, I should have said that.
Okay, here, all right, the real comment. Okay, you are so full of shit.
Like the ones that said edit on them, and you're like, you know, they said something. They were like, no, maybe not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ooh, back that up. That's a little too real. That's a little too real. Back that up. I definitely don't want to be a keyboard commando. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. There are times where I just can't help myself, and I am that guy. It's like, oh, God. For me, I swear to God, whenever I'm talking anything Star Wars,
it's crazy how much, like, how divided you would get with somebody over a fictional universe, you know? It's case in point, and back on topic track of the post-apocalypse, Caesar's Legion or NCR or Brotherhood of Steel.
Ooh.
Oh my Lord. Okay, now I'm an NCR boy. I'll be honest with you. That's my favorite faction. And you told me recently that in the new show that they are gone, and that so upset me. I guess the ideals of the Brotherhood I don't like that much. I like
it depends on which chapter.
I was about to say, I like the one where it was in DC.
Fallout 3.
Yeah, everybody. You were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, so there was
I know it was
a couple of different. Yeah,
I like
Angels
them.
Lions or something like that.
I cannot remember on that one.
Anyways,
NCR. To your question,
okay,
NCR.
Okay. Did any of those particular communities post-apocalypse, were they beneficial?
So the NCR was trying to build things back up. They were the New California Republic, right? They were trying. I mean, they had their own currency that wasn't the bottle cap system that everybody else was using. They had their own flag. They had an actual army built up to protect people, and they were doing things out of from my understanding, a mostly beneficial and benevolent system. I mean, there was still
they had the
politics
same kind of drawbacks that our government has now, where it's.
Classic
you don't want to
politics.
join us? That's fine. We'll just go, hey, mercenaries, go over there and fuck these guys up. You know what I mean? And go back, you guys are doing pretty bad right now.
Yeah, we can come and clean these guys up for you.
Yeah, or clean them up, and then, we just resettle it. Yeah, but I do like the NCR.
But then the Brotherhood, so their whole thing was they had the technology, they had the power armor and the weapons and stuff like that, but they felt like that technology of the old world was what caused the apocalypse. And, in a sense, they were kind of right about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so their overcorrection, their oversteering was nobody else should have this technology.
Except for people that are able,
that are disciplined,
yes,
that are indoctrinated into the order, that kind of thing. So they're like, all you normal dirt farmers out here in the waste just trying to make it by, you can't have the...
Is that a laser gun? Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to take that.
Kill him, yeah.
Is that an automated irrigation system and watering system? No, we're going to take that computer chip from you. You can't have that. That can cause, It's kind of like how in Warhammer 40K and in the Dune universe, they overcorrected and got rid of all technology because of the AI uprisings, right?
Right.
Basically the same principle, this founding principle with the Brotherhood of Steel. And then Caesar's Legion, I mean... basically dudes LARPing as Roman legionnaires out in the desert.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean,
Caesar. I think Caesar read books on Caesar, and that's what caused him.
Oh yeah. And he was also he had a brain tumor or something like that. Dude was actually like he was the sadistic warlord and everything. You find out that he's like dying of a brain tumor, and you only find out if you do that quest line and go and try to join up with them and everything. And he's looking for some kind of fix.
See, I never joined him, so it makes sense that I would not. Oh, that's cool as hell.
Yeah, I mean, because the first time you meet Caesar's Legion, there's a group of them that are like crucifying people in a town and burning the buildings and shit like that.
Yeah, the one dude's like, I won the lottery.
Yeah. Oh, shoot that guy and take his glasses.
Yeah, you did, buddy. You really did.
Yeah. But then you find out that whole town was overran by powder gangers, by criminals.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why they did that. It was like a
there's
hard,
also-
fast rule of like, oh, these guys are bad guys, so we're going to be the monsters that nobody else is to take these guys out and then bring everybody in.
But you kill everybody else along with them, though, right?
You find out through like messages and emails and stuff that like nobody in that town was innocent. It was kind of a Sodom and Gomorrah kind of scenario of like, you know, all these powder gangers were in here, and there was NCR soldiers that were wrapped up, but they were also, you know, whoring and gambling alongside the powder gangers. And, you know, it was just a whole mess. Like I said, there was no innocent bystanders that got caught up in this particular thing, but it looks bad on paper. You know what I mean? It's,
It all does, right?
Right. You know, so again, it's one of those situations where, I mean, throughout all the Fallout games, Fallout 4, you had the Minutemen and the Institute, Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah, the Railroad. And all these guys, they all have their own agendas. They have their own politics and their own schemes and plots.
Are they all in the same area or the same town?
Depends on the game. So the Brotherhood of Steel, they're spread across all over the U.S. because they have airships. Mm-hmm. So they have mobility.
I do remember that in the game. I mean, in the series.
Yeah.
They were flying around and
yeah, they had the vertibirds and the airships.
And when they raided something, they just slaughtered everybody in there.
Fortunate Son playing in the background.
Yeah. A lot of the factions are just local. The NCR, I think, own a lot of California.
Well, it was most of California.
Nevada, Arizona.
Yeah, so the Mojave Desert became the Mojave Wastes, and basically all bordering along that.
So that's all NCR.
And depending on what you feel about Caesar's Legion, there's stuff in the lore that says like the caravans, the roads in Caesar's Legion territory are better than the NCR.
Yes, they cut down crime by killing all the criminals.
Yeah, they're more protected. You know what I mean?
But it was one of those, again, overcorrecting, right? So they, you know, if you got caught stealing a loaf of bread, they didn't just
chop your hand off.
They didn't even chop your hand off. They just hung you in the streets. You know, it was that extreme. So that was what caused that, you know, betterment supposedly.
Well, look,
no, you can't justify that level of
no, I'm not justifying it.
Don't do it, Big Smoke.
Put the machete down.
Put the machete down.
Look, here. Stealing is wrong, baby.
Stealing is wrong. Yeah.
Stealing is wrong. If you know that stealing is wrong and that it will end up with you losing your head if you steal, I don't care how delicious that piece of bread looks. Don't steal it, gentlemen. I mean, don't do it. Okay, there's a reason why a lot of places around the world they're prescribed to that kind of justice of cutting off your right hand if you caught stealing. And everybody knows, I mean, good, bad, or the other. You could have been framed. You could have been framed. Okay. But then that also rolls back to that whole association thing. If you're hanging around a bunch of thieves, they're going to think you're a thief. So don't hang around with the thieves.
Right. And if you hang around with a bunch of thieves, you may start getting some ideas that maybe it's okay if you can get away with it.
It might be some of that low-key, hey, grab that apple. Stealing is wrong. Dude, please stop looking, grab the apple. And then you reach for the apple, and that's when that fool turns around. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, crap. I didn't steal it, but you were going to steal it, and I know that fool with no hand is a thief. Off goes your hand.
You know, and that's why, you know, we take it. That's why we should be grateful for our current system of due process when it works. You know, when it future episodes.
You guys can't see this, but I am not agreeing with this one.
I'm seeing a lot of the white of Big Smoke's eyes right now.
Oh my God, no! Because I'm telling you, there's people around here. They don't think in terms of right and wrong. They think in terms of what they get away with.
What you can get away with, self-gratification. All right, so then let me ask you this, though. I mean, obviously I can kind of already get a hint of what your answer is going to be, but, you know, when it comes to your sense of self-preservation, say you just crawled your way through the desert for 4 days, you're starving, you're dehydrated, you're going to drop dead, and nobody's being generous enough to help you out. When does it become okay for you to take things in your own hands and be like, all right, there's a loaf of bread right here, and, you know, the vendor's out a couple of bucks, I can work that off. I'm just going to go ahead and take it now to make sure that I live long enough to pay off that debt, you know? Yeah.
Well, that goes into what am I going to prescribe to when I come in contact with you? If I'm roaming the desert or whatever and I cannot eat or you know, find water, and all of a sudden I stumble onto said group that's sitting around a campfire, and I'm like, hey man, you got any water? You know, you got a scorpion I could chew on, something.
They're packed with protein.
And they say no. The 45 long slides coming out, and I'm going to get that water and that roach or whatever I got to eat. That's survival. But in a society group that I like, okay, I want to be a part of this group. In order to get these amenities, I have to abide by these certain rules. That's different. Mm-hmm. If I come walking up to like a gated community and I'm all disheveled and starving and stuff, and they decide to say, "Hey, look, nah, bro, we're at capacity. The next town is down that way." Okay, then I'm going to okay. That's the hard thought. Okay, they don't want me in this society.
You know, really comes down to like what's wrong with that society that they can't, spare a loaf of bread for somebody. You know what I mean?
No. It's their rules. It's their decision.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, okay. Like I said, they may not even be at capacity. I just maybe stink, or for reasons that they don't want me with them. I got ways of saying it, but I'm like, we'll just go for the short range. They don't want me there. Sure. That's their decision to make. They got their society built. I'm deemed unworthy for whatever reason. Okay. Their best bet is to shoot me right there on sight, because now I want to live. You got something I want. I'm going to try to get it. You've already said I don't belong there. Fine. Well, I'm going to make sure that I get what I can get. Of course, I'm going to try to get out of there, because you're going to be pissed off, because I might have to a couple of people, in order to get said, amenities to prolong my life. Yeah. It's a matter of like, okay, you got it. How strong are you to keep it?
I like to think that in a situation where we've been discussing where society's rebuilding, right? At that point, there's got to be some kind of like, working for food program or something like that, where you contribute something, you get something. You know what I mean? I get a little too close to communist propaganda there. That's what I'll tell you. Like, hey, you go dig a quarter mile of ditch, you can get your loaf of bread and a bottle of water. Something.
No.
No. You go dig out the shit box and you can have half a loaf. Fucking no. There's got to be something.
I'm notorious for this. Somebody comes into the shop. Hey, I want a job. I'm looking up, I'm looking down. I don't know, Ninja. I don't know. I don't think I want you working here. I don't think you got what it takes. And how often have I been wrong about such things?
Not many.
Not many.
I think once, and he's sitting at our table.
Right now. Looks you up and down. We're full back.
Yeah, we're full.
We don't need that.
Yeah, we don't know. We're not hiring.
It says hiring out there. No, it's
it's old time.
We're taking that down tonight. We don't hire, man. I gotta be the asshole. Sometimes you just don't want that food in your camp. You don't.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Is it's not a permanent, adding to the community. I'm saying
we're talking society now. We're talking society.
But I'm saying if you just got to make it to the next town, you should be able to work off, a day of supplies to get to the next town.
Okay, that's not the same damn thing. But okay, look, having someone go, look, hey man, I need some water or bread or a piece of beef or some bacon, and I'm on my way.
Yeah.
If we got it, here, bro, take it. Exit stage left.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with that.
Sometimes that just means, oh, hey, they got it.
They got more. Yeah. Exactly. And he might be just some fool who's like, yeah, they gave me some bread and they gave me some bacon, man. And it's fresh. I think they got more of that stuff back there, dude. And their guards are weak on the left flank.
But see, somebody's got to in that back and forth is all it is a back and forth every time on that kind of discussion. Somebody's got to give on some front, right? Otherwise, it just continues to be a land of lawlessness and raiders and the strong dominating the weak. And
no. Okay.
Why can't there be objective trade value?
Okay.
Of
trade,
work and labor for goods.
We've talked about this trade, right? Okay, so now
even if it's work under gunpoint, you can still do a job.
Exactly. You got a representative from like faction A, and then you got your camp. You got people from faction A. They come over to your gate and says, "Hey, look, dude, we got this to trade." They're offering something to trade for what you have to trade, but that fool does not come past the gate because he's going to come past the gate and he's going to be looking left and he's going to be looking right. Okay. how many women they got in here? How many good-looking women do they got in here? How many women they got that's of,
First episode of the Fallout
Exactly.
series. The Raiders get into the vault.
Exactly. They're scoping you out. Okay. If you want to trade, your butt does not come past that gate. You got what you got to offer. We take it and we look at it. And then we come to the gate and we give you what we have to give you and go home. You may not come in. You do not pass go, and we don't have $200. It's all barter here, baby.
Oh.
You build your society from within. If you want your society to grow, you need to stop pumping out some kids. I don't care that you like only women. You're going to have a kid for the team. I don't care. Okay. That feminist stuff. No, I'm sorry, baby. we going to have some kids. You coming out? You want to eat?
All I can think of
We're
is
making love tonight. It's consensual. I'm saying, look.
the new slogan on the T-shirt, man. There is no atheist in a foxhole. There is no lesbian in the apocalypse.
No. You think you're gonna be a lesbian out in the post-apocalyptic world? No. You're gonna be 100% heterosexual, or at least heterofluid. But we are going to promote procreation in this town. You want to see how? Okay, here's a good test of that theory. You want to be a feminist? Okay, out the gate you go. Let's see how far you go and how long you last. Someone's going to scoop you up, and suddenly you're not going to be a lesbian. That's just the way it is. Well, in a post-apocalyptic society, you're not going to be fat. You're not going to be fat. You might be ugly as sin, but even ugly as sin can have kids.
And his town's gonna have no lesbians, no fat people. It's all these lesbians.
People are going to be working and having sex.
You get your shit.
You're going to be...
I mean, you put it that way, it doesn't sound bad.
You're either gonna be working or you're fucking. One of the two. Or you're working and fucking.
Yeah. After a good day's working, it's gonna be 40 pumps. I'm too tired to go any further. And that's the way it's gonna be.
Or fucking is you're working. Either way, you're doing one of them.
God, dude.
Yes, he's Genghis Khan.
There's gonna be a lot of brown people in there. There's gonna be some light chocolate people in there. There's gonna be some dark chocolate in there.
Don't seem to be a lot of white people in this town for some
reason.
reason.
Gonna be some white in there. You're going some swirlies.
Yeah.
Come on now. We're talking about growing a society. This is what's going to happen. People like to overlook the fact that there's going to be some...
Yeah. You take the hard look at the actual logistics that goes into rebuilding society. Like,
Yeah.
that is
Big Smoke's confused. What we mean to be is everybody rebuilding society, not just you rebuilding society.
That's fair.
Oh, that shit's stupid. Never mind. I don't want to do that shit. Then.
Never mind. I'm going back out to my shack in
I'm
the
going
woods.
back to my shack. Yeah, stupid.
Here's a really relevant thing. In Ireland, well, you know what the most common name in Ireland now is? Muhammad. Because they let all these ninjas in there and they're breeding everybody out. These cats are dicking down everybody. And they don't believe in contraception. They believe in having kids. Okay? Their benchmark is 6 kids. Their benchmark isn't anything else other than that. Okay? We're gonna have as many kids, we're gonna breed out the rest of you. Because most of these people are like they're diehard into feminism, or they're supporting feminism. Okay, when you're a woman and you're working, 5-6 days a week, you're not concerned with having kids. They're like, hey, she's like, I'm too tired. In the Muslim community, they don't care if you're tired coming out them draws. and now, Ireland's like, okay, and it's just now the Irish people are going, oh shoot, we're getting, there's going to be more of them than us.
Yeah.
And we're in Ireland. That's no good.
I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about Muhammad dicking everybody down.
I know I'm going to like, comment, and subscribe. Is Big Smoke wrong in this assessment? I don't think Big Smoke is wrong. we're talking like post-apocalypse. Okay, all the bombs have dropped. All the old and infirm. All the people with stigma. What do they call it? Stigmatism. All the cats is gone. Everybody doesn't need glasses because all the people with glasses have died off. So now we got all of the straight, average height or taller. You got everybody who's like no spina bifida. You got no wheelchairs. No wheelchairs unless unless little Johnny got mauled by a bear and lost a leg in the attack. That is what's going on.
These signs are just getting worse.
Yeah,
spinal bifida. No,
we're supposed to be rebuilding society. Now we're turning it back down again.
You got one eye that blew this way, blew that way.
Who's living and who's dying? A weak man he's not gonna get the woman. It's gonna be the tall guy. It's gonna be the strong guy. It's gonna be the overly aggressive guy. And he's not, and those kind of guys aren't listening to, well, I'm a feminist and I don't know. You're not a feminist tonight, baby girl. You're not a feminist.
Being one of them people that is tall but lack everything else. Yeah,
you're not gonna be no 6'4" dude talking about poetry. No. I'm the man, you're the woman. It's time for some baby making. Because society's gotta grow.
Society has mutually consented to start rebuilding and repopulating in a way that works for everybody, and everybody's nice and comfortable. Yeah. And happy having kids and building families.
Real comfortable over here. You got like a big throne with a bear. A bear skinned on it.
No, the reason we have society today, as is society, is because you want to do said thing, but the law says that's wrong. There are consequences of doing the wrong thing, so you do the right thing overall.
I would argue that the objectively correct thing to do is usually the most beneficial for most people. So, you want to do good because it's good and because it works. It helps.
Okay. That's
my optimistic.
Okay, that's optimism. That's not objective. Objective is this. If there's 4 guys and there's no law saying that they can't do something, they're going to do it.
No, in an objective scenario in that setup, if 4 guys are in a situation where one person has something and the other 3 guys want it, the most objectively beneficial is to trade, barter, and divide. Otherwise, objectively, you're at risk of getting shot. So that's the objective evil and the objective good. In one of those, everybody benefits, and the other one, everybody's at risk of very quickly not benefiting.
Yeah, but you're thinking in terms of that there are rules in place to stop the 3 people from doing it.
No, I'm talking about the general concept of, I don't want to get shot over a trade deal, so I'm going to make this trade fairly. And I would hope, I'm not saying that I would expect, but I would hope that everybody else would be of that similar mindset of, I just want to get in here, get my shit and get out, and without the risk of being shot. Now, everybody's showing up to the table armed, but, like I said, so optimism with a little bit of realism, you know what I mean? Like I said, you show up armed, but you make the trade deal that benefits everybody because objectively you are looking at a mutually beneficial terms.
Okay, people in the audience, you know that freaking Chief is serious, but you can't see it. But when Chief starts to point,
knife hand,
he starts doing that knife hand.
Me laying down the law.
This is how it is, people. Jolly, do you concur with said statement from Chief?
With him doing the knife hand?
Well, we know he's doing the knife hand.
He did do it to me the other day. And he even called it. He was like, that's the knife hand.
Yeah, there's a knife hand.
All right, I'll put it away.
Yeah, put the knife hand away. Okay. Do you agree with what he's saying?
As a person that really, really wants to be a good person, yes, I want society to be like that, where it's beneficial. There's, would you say, optimism mixed with a little bit of realism. I feel like you're a little bit more than I am. I'm
on the optimism side or the realism side?
I'm in the middle. I'll be completely honest.
Ooh, he is really Switzerland, isn't he?
I'm right in the middle because I get where sometimes
I'm about to steal the boards out of that bench you're sitting on.
Oh, you hear rustling.
You have a point.
Both of you
Mr.
have,
President,
both of
you have a point too.
Both of you have a very good point. No, motherfucker, you ain't riding the rail on this one. Which side you falling on?
Okay, all right. Let me rephrase. Let's shift the perspective a little bit, right?
Okay.
You know you're coming to the table. You know you've got something that they want. They got something you want. Trade deal needs to happen. Both sides are armed, and there is an ideal outcome for both sides, right? So that's the objective view. The objective good view is that people are going to want what's best for them, which is ideally get what you came for. Don't get shot in the process.
Amen.
Now, my argument is simply that
Knife hand.
my argument is that you see in movies and television for dramatic effect.
Yes.
That people go towards that instantly, I'm going to shoot first and just take everything mindset. I think that a majority of people have that objectively good mentality of, I just want to make the trade deal and go home, not shoot anybody. Not trying to pull any fast ones, not trying to pull something over on somebody else, because now you've not only established this trade, but future trades. In a logical, reasoning mind, you win the most by being good.
I'm slowly slinking over here to... side.
Okay. You're allowed to disagree.
This is just objectively, I hate people. People are the nastiest, worst, most disgusting individuals. I sometimes hate that I am a human being, but I am what I am. I can't help what I was born.
Baby girl, who hurt you?
Who did this to you? I expect the worst. Okay, doing my daily job, I run into more people that are assholes than good people. I don't feel like that'll change post, during, or after the apocalypse. I really don't think it will. So, I mean, the trade agreement that you said, yes, it's beneficial for both parties. No party wants bloodshed. So let's come in the middle. But people are disgusting. But I get what you're saying. I don't want bloodshed.
Well,
I would rather figure this out.
Let me ask you this.
This is Big Smoke being quiet during this now. Remember this. Big Smoke is not saying anything. Continue, gentlemen.
Do you think that in a society where the consequences of law and law enforcement cracking down on people for acting out being removed is going to make people more or less of an asshole? Because I think
Okay, so I'm talking about instead of...
basically it's a much faster fuck around, find out.
Okay.
You know,
so we were talking a bit ago, like, you do this, we chop your hand off, or we just string you up in the courtyard and put cheese stealer on it, so don't steal the fucking cheese down at the market.
Right, but more than that, if you square off on a guy that's just as likely to shoot you or smack you around, and you don't have backup, in a lawless society, you have to deal with that much more quickly and with much less or much more consequences. We talked about consequences before. When you reintroduce immediate consequences to your actions, I feel like people are less likely to be an asshole. Because if everybody's armed and everybody's equally likely to pull on you, you're going to be a bit better behaved because of that. You're not going to risk getting shot over a bad trade deal.
Okay, I'm jumping in. You put 10 people up in a lineup. All of them are armed. I think at a glance, you'll know at least 5 of them that are a little more likely to pull if things escalate. 5.
Yeah.
So 50%.
At least 50%. The other 5. Of those other 5, you got one who's just a limp phallus, weak, baseless coward who will not pull.
These guys hand shaking, trying to pull that slide back. And
he's peeing his pants. He's hoping no one sees him or smells him. So that leaves you 4. Now you got the 4. You might find 2 that's going to be, I won't shoot first, but I'm definitely going to shoot second. Or I'm going to shoot right when you're shooting. And I'm aiming at you. Because they've already figured out of the 5, which one is the most dangerous of the 5. That leaves you 2. Those are the guys who are actively going, I'm going to wait in the background while everyone else is shooting. And then I shoot who's ever left over. So you're still going to get maybe 1 or 2 guys in that entire crossfire who's going to come out on top. And that's usually the ones who shoot first. I'm just saying. There's no negotiating in that. They're strong and the others are eaten. And then they're going to go back to camp and they're going to make love to everybody else's wives. That's just what's going to happen.
Okay.
Because you're not dealing with, we're talking about post-apocalypse. Okay, there are rules to this game. The strong are the ones who are going to thrive. Their genes are going to be put down into the future, not everybody else's. They're going to be the one or two guys who are going to have all the women, and they're going to do all the procreating, and the rest are just going to be worker bees wanting to make love, but they're not. And that's going to happen because even in today's society, it's the most productive, the most rich, the most handsome. They're the ones doing all of everything, and the rest are just falling in line.
I will agree with
Would you agree with Big Smoke's?
I agree with Big Smoke's assessment on that one, just because I don't feel like people are going to change that much. Now, with your thing you said, the trade deal, I would love no more than to come to a nice agreement where everyone's happy and we leave whatchamacallit. But I do know how people act. So with Big Smoke's assessment on what he said about the lineup, it really and truthfully, I mean, I don't think he's too far from because then he was like half and half, and I was like, maybe a little bit more asshole. And then he explained it. There's one that's pissing his pants, and then I was like, okay, he's really breaking it down to a point where.
All right, so then let's zoom out the scale a little bit. Let's look at it from a societal standpoint. Right?
Okay, yeah,
so now I've got
here we are now, and now we're expanding out. And she said,
all right, so I've got my nice little compound set up where I've got green vegetables, I've got my chickens and my cows, and I've got my people that are tending the farms and everything. And I've got my nice high walls with clean water and plumbing and everything else.
High wall.
Now, you've got money. You either want what I have, and you'll pay what I say you'll pay for it, or you'll go to Big Smoke and all of his armed raiders, and you're going to pay him to wreck my walls and then take what I have, and then hope that he gives you your cut and doesn't shoot you and just take the rest of your money.
Mm-hmm.
So morally, who's got the better arrangement here?
You.
Right. If you Big Smoke with your raiders and everything, I say I want his money. I will trade you all the food and water that you could possibly want. Go take his money for me, or they pay you to try to take what we got. Now you got a bigger fight on our hands. On your hands with us because we got the high walls and everything, and we've got the supplies to handle a siege. Which side are you going to take? You going to take the money, or are you going to take the guaranteed food and vegetables? Like the honest at face value traders. This is what we're offering for your service.
Big Smoke, I want you to look me in the eyes when you give me your answer.
I'll say this right. I'm going to lie to your face. I'm going to do my side. I'm going to scope out your defenses. I'm going to find a weakness, and I'm going to exploit it. Until then, I'm going to make nice. I'm going to go, hey, look, dude, we're going to go with this here plan here, and we're going to wipe you out.
Now, follow-up question to really drive this home.
Follow-up question?
To really drive this home.
That's cheating. Okay, go ahead.
Are you more worried about sustainability of your people as a leader, or just what you can get while you're alive? Because if you wipe us out, you're going to feed yourself for your lifetime.
Maybe once.
But then you guys can't grow the vegetables. You don't have the know-how that we have to keep the aqueducts running and keeping all that green, all the animals alive and everything else.
Mm.
So now, so if we get touched, that means generations after you are done.
Mm.
But that society, like I said, we could trade to you for protection, trade to you for the services, keep the money flowing, keep it all rotating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now I'm standing from the morally objective, good, high ground here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, I set up the scenario, so of course I stacked it in my favor. But
of course.
But this is the kind of things that we're talking about. You talk about force and strength, conquering over the weak. Would you consider my grounds weak just because we chose farming and agriculture and trade over strictly military might or strictly economic growth?
Well, I have been blessed with the mantle of raider. We raid. We're thinking about right now. That's what we're thinking. So my default setting is going to be prey on the weak.
And you're going to win in that fight.
Yeah, there's going to always be weak people out there that I can exploit, kill, murder. That's what a raider does. Now, if I'm a charismatic raider who can look you in your eye and tell you you're the most beautiful person in the world, and I love what you're doing, let's work this out. You're a fool to believe that because I'm a raider, and I'm a raider. But you're going to go on that, but he might be a nice guy underneath all that murder and slaughtering of the innocent. And it's not true. While I'm saying that it's nice that, like, yeah, dude, I really like those nice, fresh green tomatoes, those nice tomatoes that you got. I'll be back in a couple of weeks because I'm going to go over here at this other compound who isn't as nice, nicely built up as you. And I'm going to kill everybody over there. I'm going to steal all their food. I'm going to take all their women. I'm going to sell all the children. But I'll be back and we can negotiate for those tomatoes. And then, after we negotiate for the tomatoes, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to kill all these people who are probably coming to your compound for some tomatoes, but they won't make it because they'll run into my group of raiders and I'm going to kill all of them. And I'm going to take all their food too. And then the week after that, I'll come back and we'll talk about those tomatoes. You are a fool if you think that you're going to go, hey, how you guys are doing out there raiding and killing and everything. You seem to be pretty fit. How was living out there raiding out there in the tundra? Because you're just sitting there, being a nice guy, nice community, and everyone's, loving on each other and going to church and all that stuff. And I'm out here just destroying the world as much as I can. Your best bet is to kill me off. Or he's cheating again. Okay.
I try to bribe as many of your guys to turn on you as possible to come to my side. Because now they see, they may have some modicum of success, but they're also seeing the guys that don't make it in your very dangerous lifestyle. And I say, hey, you guys can have as much bread and tomatoes and meat and water as you want. Sit up on my walls with those guns, and anybody that comes close with that kind of mindset.
Jolly has something to say.
Yeah.
I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you, Chief.
He's emotionally invested.
He is.
I am. But I do not agree with you, Chief, because, okay, you do that. You bring them in. They are still animals at heart. I feel like they're not going to stop what they do. Now, a few of them, yes, a few of them just went out of life. A few of them just did it because... what else am I going to do? Lay down and die somewhere? There was nobody else. But I feel that you're inviting, okay, let's say the crops don't look good. The tomatoes, they ain't doing good this year. Your other stuff, it ain't doing good. Well, now they're looking around like, well, this place is going to a fucking, dump. Let's get together and let's raid this from the inside. Now you invited, so instead of your thick walls protecting yourself from, the raiders outside, you've invited a bunch of skeptical individuals. And not all of them, like I said, not all of them are going to turn, but I'm sure a few are just going to where the pasture is greener.
The previous raiders.
The previous, I'm sorry.
They've turned a new leaf in life.
And Chief, I really do get where you're coming from. I do, but I've seen.
All right,
we've all seen too many movies where this plays out.
Not even the movies, just people. You know what I mean? They really don't change. Very few.
I will put out one last closing argument.
Okay.
It's like 4 times he's cheated. Okay, but go ahead.
This is a debate. We're still going. I have a rebuttal.
Now hear me out.
It's always a good one when you hear like, oh, no. Hear me out.
When you take somebody at face value, yes, you can be deceived. But I would like to think that says more about the deceiver than the person taking somebody at face value.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We absolutely agree. Continue.
If you look at somebody just off of their past behaviors, again, being put into situations that are beyond their control, and they end up in a rough spot, sometimes all people need is that guidance and being shown that there is an alternate way, there is a different path. Who's to say that I wouldn't gain more loyalty from those ex-raiders that turned a new leaf, so that even whenever times do get tough, they say, hey, times are tough, but I know these guys can produce results. They did before. So I'm going to back them. That seems like the smart play.
As I said, I'm sure a few will. But they are just, there's some that just joined the Raider group.
They enjoy the killing cool. and
the looting. That just seems like a cool lifestyle. And when shit looked like they ain't doing too good over here, they're just going to jump ship. And I'm sure a good many will turn. But how many? Is it enough to where they're not going to do a bunch of damage inside your walls?
How many do you think that I didn't send there to begin with?
Oh, my.
See, I never got around to saying that. But you're going...
As the gates fly open, I told you I was coming back with them tomatoes.
Hey, look, you're my number one henchman, right? You're my number one henchman. He's going to come to you and he's going to, hey, look, I got all this nice food here. I give you a bivouac to sleep in. Got power. Got a few single ladies out there, woo to your heart's content. You just come to us and, leave all that looting and raiding behind, man. He's going to ask you that. Take him up on the offer. No signs of deception. Live the life. Enjoy yourself. Take a vacation. But in 3 weeks, at 2 a.m, open that gate and let us in. And then the real happy. Then the real party happens. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Hey,
You don't trust it. You are a fool if you think that to lead a raiding band, I got to have an incredible amount of charisma and psychological control over the beasts that are behind me. You want to let those guys in? I mean, sure, I'll shave a few of them, have them all nice and crippy, and put them in the creek a little bit and they'll take a bath that they haven't taken in a couple of months, and then I send them to you, and they'll smile, and they'll walk the little old lady across the street while you're watching, and then they watch out for the people who are like maybe nodding off on guard duty, who are sleeping, because they've gotten really nice and comfortable in their nice little life in the community post-apocalypse, okay? And then in about 3 weeks, when you guys have forgotten the animals that you let in your gates, they're going to cut a few throats and they're going to open up the gates. And then the worst thing that could possibly happen to you at 2:30 in the morning when a whole band of raiders come in while everybody is asleep, because only a couple of you are on the gates on that big ass wall, and I still get the tomatoes. Okay.
The more
I wanted them damn tomatoes.
The more he talks, the more I'm like, I want to agree with him. Because now he's I agree with you, or agree with him more, because I'm scared. Don't let them in. This guy's insane.
Do you forget that Troy fell for this exact same problem? I think we should end it right there.
Hold on. First
See you
off,
next week, guys.
first is the call to action. Pick a side, get in those comments.
Yeah, please. We do want to see what you guys think. Please.
What do you think?
Who's right? Who wins?
Yeah.
I feel like the episode end of,
Side you shaking down on the Raiders or the Homesteaders?
sounds like the end of an epic rap battles of history. Who's right? Who's
You
right?
decide. Like, dislike, comment, please. I want to hear the comments and subscribe.
Share it around. Send it to your friends. Send it to your enemies.
Or he will come to your house with his Raiders.
And he's gonna get those tomatoes. All right, guys. I think that's gonna wrap us up tonight. Oh, thank you all for joining us. See you on the next show.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
All right, time to empty out the mop bucket, run the trash, and hit the lights. Go get off my time clock, and be safe getting home.